Let's start with our first news. Charles Oliveira has once again fired back at the criticism he received after his BMF title win over Max Holloway. As many fans already know, Oliveira faced serious backlash for using a grappling-heavy approach, with critics claiming a BMF fight should be all about standing and trading shots. But Oliveira wasn't having any of it. Speaking in a recent interview, he made his stance very clear. He explained that if he had stood and traded with Max Holloway and ended up getting knocked out, those same critics would have called him stupid for not using his jiu-jitsu. He pointed out that after his loss to Ilia, people said the exact same thing, that he should have grappled instead of striking. Oliveira didn't hold back as he addressed the double standards. He made it clear that fighting is not a video game, where fans can dictate strategies from behind a screen. According to him, success in MMA comes from having a smart game plan and sticking to it. Every time he has gone away from his strategy, he has paid the price. He also shut down the narrative that the fight was boring. Oliveira emphasized that he wasn't just holding position, he was actively working, hunting submissions, transitioning, and landing strikes. In his eyes, that is a real fight, a display of skill, not just reckless trading for entertainment. Clearly frustrated, Oliveira called out online critics, saying many of them have no real understanding of the sport and just talk nonsense. Ilia stressed that MMA is for fighters who think, study, and execute with precision. The elite fighters, the ones who truly understand the game, appreciate the RT behind it. For Oliveira, winning with intelligence will always come before pleasing the crowd. And he made it clear he's not changing that approach anytime soon. Move on to another news. Jorge Masvidal has shared his honest take on a potential clash between Ilia and Justin Gaethje, and he isn't very optimistic about Gaethje's chances. Even though the two fighters had bad blood in the past, Masvidal made it clear that he now respects Gaethje both as a person and as a fighter. For those who may not remember, their rivalry goes back several years. Leading into Masvidal's second fight with Kamaru Usman, Gaethje publicly mocked him, even calling him an idiot for using the nickname Street Jesus. Since then, the two exchanged verbal shots, building tension between them. However, time has passed, and it seems they've managed to bury the hatchet. Masvidal explained that he recently spent time with Gaethje during an FBI seminar, where they got to know each other better. According to him, those moments changed his perspective. He admitted that he genuinely likes Gaethje now, praising both his personality and his fighting spirit. Still, respect aside, Masvidal believes this particular matchup is a nightmare for Gaethje. Breaking it down, Masvidal focused heavily on the stylistic differences. He pointed out that Gaethje has built his career on surviving brutal wars, often getting hit hard before finding a way to come back and win. That kind of resilience has made him a fan favorite, but Masvidal warned that this approach won't work against Ilia. He emphasized that Ilia brings not only serious power, but also incredible discipline and defense. Unlike many of Gaethje's previous opponents, Ilia doesn't leave openings or get reckless in exchanges. His striking is calculated, his head movement is constant, and he rarely stays on the center line long enough to be caught clean. Masvidal stressed that this combination makes Ilia extremely dangerous. In his view, if Gaethje gets caught the way he has in past fights, there may be no coming back this time. That's why he believes the odds are heavily stacked against Gaethje in this matchup. Despite all that, Masvidal didn't completely rule out the possibility of an upset. He acknowledged that if Gaethje somehow manages to win, it would be absolutely shocking and one of the craziest outcomes fans have seen in a long time. It would instantly change the narrative around both fighters. Even so, Masvidal remained firm in his prediction. From his perspective, the skills, discipline, and precision that Ilia brings into the fight make this a very bad matchup for Gaethje, and he simply doesn't see it going in Gaethje's favor. Move on to another news. Things just got heated between Du Plessis and Borralho, and it all started when Borralho decided to take things to a whole new level. Instead of just calling him out online, Borralho actually flew to South Africa, determined to confront Du Plessis face-to-face. Borralho documented the entire moment and posted a video on his Instagram, making it clear he was done waiting. In the caption, he called out Du Plessis directly, saying he had already made 4 call-outs with no response, so he took matters into his own hands. He even mentioned that he had arrived in Johannesburg personally, asking where Du Plessis was and demanding answers. In the video, Borralho is seen walking around, asking people if they know where Du Plessis is. His tone was calm but clearly frustrated, as he explained that he had been searching for him and still hadn't received any kind of response. The message was clear. Borralho wanted action, not silence. It didn't take long for Du Plessis to respond, and when he did, he fired back with confidence. He jumped into the comments and told Borralho to come to the CIT Performance Institute, suggesting they could spar right there in the gym. He even added that they could record the session if Borralho wanted, turning the situation into something very public. That response immediately caught attention, and fans jumped into the conversation. One user questioned the idea, asking why spar when they could just fight for real. Du Plessis didn't hesitate to respond, making it clear that sparring, in his eyes, is fighting, just inside the gym without the official setup. The tension kept building as Du Plessis followed up with another message, telling Borralho he would see him on Friday, adding a bit of mockery by calling him a nerd. That only pushed things further, as Borralho snapped back, telling Du Plessis to stop acting like a kid and just sign the contract if he was serious. Du Plessis wasn't backing down at all. He fired back once again, questioning what contract Borralho was even talking about. He made it clear he doesn't see Borralho as someone currently in the title conversation, dismissing his call-out entirely. Still, Du Plessis doubled down on his challenge, telling Borralho to come to the gym since he was only about 30 minutes away. He laid out the details clearly, saying they start at 9 a.m. on Friday, and challenged Borralho to show up and prove he's man enough. At this point, the situation has turned into a full-blown showdown, with both fighters refusing to back down, and tensions reaching another level. Move on to another news. Strickland has once again sparked attention after openly explaining to Francis Ngannou why he always carries a gun. The conversation took a very direct and blunt turn, as Strickland didn't hesitate to speak his mind in classic fashion. According to Strickland, the reason he carries a gun is simple. He told Ngannou that the answer is right in front of him, and even pointed out that he should look in the mirror to understand. Strickland made it clear that, in his view, self-awareness and reality are the key reasons behind his decision. He emphasized that his lifestyle and mindset are shaped by how he sees the world around him. Strickland suggested that being aware of your own limitations and environment is what drives his choice to stay prepared at all times. His tone was calm but extremely direct, leaving little room for misunderstanding. Strickland also made a pointed remark during the exchange, implying that physical size alone does not guarantee safety or control. He suggested that no matter how strong or intimidating someone may look, it does not eliminate real-world risks or threats. In his eyes, preparation is always necessary. The conversation carried a tense but philosophical edge, as Strickland framed his perspective as more about survival and awareness than anything else. He repeatedly leaned on the idea that understanding yourself and your surroundings is essential in unpredictable situations. Ngannou's presence in the discussion added even more weight, as both men are known for their incredible physical power. However, Strickland's message was not about strength, but about mindset and caution. He made it clear that he does not rely solely on physical ability when thinking about personal safety. At one point, Strickland bluntly stated that people often misunderstand his approach. He insisted that his reasoning is not emotional, but practical, rooted in how he interprets reality and personal responsibility. His delivery remained unfiltered, staying true to his well-known outspoken personality. The exchange highlighted the contrast between two very different worldviews, one focused on raw physical dominance and the other focused on constant awareness and preparation. Strickland stood firm in his belief that being mentally prepared is just as important as being physically capable. In the end, his explanation to Ngannou was less about confrontation and more about perspective, as he reinforced the idea that his choices come from how he sees and understands the world around him every single day. Move on to another news. Pimblett has opened up about his recent loss to Justin Gaethje in the interim lightweight title fight, admitting that his own ego played a major role in the outcome. He lost the bout via unanimous decision, and now he is reflecting on what went wrong inside the cage. Pimblett explained that during the fight, he drifted away from his original game plan. Instead of sticking to his strategy, he allowed emotions and ego to take control. He admitted that he wanted to make a statement, aiming for a knockout and trying to finish Gaethje in spectacular fashion, rather than fighting smart. He said that his mindset going going into certain exchanges was focused on proving a point to everyone watching. That desire to show he could dominate and stand and trade ultimately pulled him away from what he had trained to do. In his own words, he wanted to shine and force a finish, even when the situation did not call for it. Pimblett reflected on key moments in the fight where things started slipping away. He pointed out that going for aggressive exchanges against someone like Gaethje, especially late in the fight, made things much more difficult. He acknowledged that by the time he attempted adjustments, it was already too late to fully turn things around. He admitted that trying to secure takedowns late in the fight, after absorbing damage earlier, showed a breakdown in discipline and timing. The exhaustion and pressure of the moment made it harder to execute the plan he originally intended to follow. Now, Pimblett says the focus is shifting back to fundamentals. He emphasized the importance of fight IQ, discipline, and sticking to a structured game plan rather than getting caught up in emotional decisions during high-pressure moments. He made it clear that this experience was a learning moment. Instead of relying on reckless aggression, he wants to return to a more controlled approach, where strategy comes first and ego takes a backseat. According to him, that is what separates good fighters from great ones. At the moment, Pimblett is not officially scheduled for his next fight, but there is growing speculation that he could face Benoit Saint-Denis during International Fight Week in July. While nothing is confirmed, fans are already discussing what could be a crucial comeback opportunity for him. For now, Pimblett appears focused on growth and correction, determined to fix the mistakes from his last performance and return stronger, sharper, and more disciplined. In his next appearance inside the octagon, move on to another news. Jiri Prochazka has revealed that he is currently targeting a return to the octagon and is weighing up two major potential opponents, Paulo Costa or Magomed Ankalaev. Speaking on the Ariel Helwani show, Jiri opened up about his mindset, recovery, and what comes next after his recent setback. When asked how long he plans to stay away, Jiri made it clear that his approach is deeply connected to his philosophy as a warrior. He explained that once you fully accept the way of the warrior, everything in life becomes part of discipline, including training, recovery, nutrition, and mental control. For him, this is not just sport, it is a way of life. He emphasized that to become the best in the world, you must treat your body and mind like a precise tool. He spoke about eating properly, drinking clean water, practicing breathing exercises, and keeping the mind sharp and calm. According to him, his body is like a weapon that must always be maintained at the highest level. Jiri explained that he is currently focused on rebuilding and staying active in his routine. He mentioned that he has time with his family, but also remains fully committed to preparation. After his last fight, which involved a difficult recovery process including a hospital visit, he wants to ensure he returns at the right time, not rushed, but ready. When discussing a possible return timeline, Jiri suggested he could be back around August, September, or October. He made it clear that he is not in a hurry, but he is also not stepping away from competition. His focus is on returning when everything aligns properly. As for opponents, Jiri stated directly that he does not care whether it is Costa or Ankalaev. For him, the goal is simple: fight the best. He explained that if you want to be the best, you must be willing to defeat whoever is placed in front of you without hesitation. He also acknowledged that both fighters have been vocal about him in the past, but denied that this influenced his decision. Instead, he said both names naturally stand out as strong contenders for his return fight. Meanwhile, Magomed Ankalaev responded on social media after Jiri's comments, criticizing him and questioning his credibility as a challenger. Ankalaev claimed that Jiri is calling out fights selectively and labeled him a pretender, further adding tension to a potential matchup. With both names in the conversation and tensions already rising, Jiri's return is shaping up to be one of the most anticipated moments in the division. Move on to another news. Jack Della Maddalena and Carlos Prates came face-to-face for the first time ahead of their highly anticipated clash at UFC Perth this weekend. The moment was short, but the intensity between both fighters was clear from the start. As they stepped in for the face-off, both men locked eyes and stood their ground, showing zero hesitation. There was no pushing, no shouting, just a silent stare down filled with focus and tension. The atmosphere around them shifted immediately as fans and media watched closely. JDM looked calm, but locked in, maintaining a composed expression as he squared off with Prates. On the other side, Prates matched the energy, standing firm and refusing to blink away from the moment. It was a classic pre-fight face-off, but with a noticeable edge of seriousness. The two fighters remained nose-to nose for several seconds, neither giving an inch. It was a clear reminder that this is more than just another fight week moment. It is a collision between two dangerous competitors preparing for WAR inside the octagon. After a brief pause, officials eventually stepped in to separate them, ending the face-off before it could escalate further. Even as they turned away, the tension lingered, with both fighters still focused and locked into the upcoming battle. With UFC Perth now approaching fast, this first encounter has only added more fire to an already exciting match. matchup between JDM and Carlos Prates.